Okay, wait. How did the Philippines beat everyone else? I'll be honest. When people think of the top English-speaking countries in Asia, their first guess usually isn't the Philippines. But maybe it should be, because year after year, this island nation consistently dominates the charts when it comes to English proficiency. In fact, the Philippines ranked first in Asia and 20th globally in the 2023 EF English Proficiency Index. That's ahead of countries like Malaysia, Singapore, and even some parts of Europe. So what's going on here? How did a country with over 180 native languages and dialects become the English giant of Asia? The answer isn't just about schooling. It's a wild mix of history, culture, economics, and something you probably didn't expect. So stay with me, because once you discover the true reason, you'll see the Philippines and the power of language in a whole new light. How did English become so deeply rooted in Filipino culture? Let's rewind the clock. After centuries under Spanish rule, the Philippines fell under American control in 1898. And with that came a massive shift in the education system. Americans introduced a public school framework modeled after the US with English as the language of instruction. It wasn't a gradual change. It was fast, intentional, and widespread. Within just a couple of decades, English had replaced Spanish as the official language in many formal sectors. And the Americans didn't stop at curriculum. They deployed over 500 teachers, known as the Thomasites, to train a new generation of Filipino educators and students. These teachers not only taught grammar and vocabulary, but also brought in American values, customs, and ways of thinking. It wasn't just a language transplant, it was cultural integration. What's remarkable is how the Filipino people embraced English. It wasn't viewed as a colonial burden, it was seen as a tool for social mobility. English became a passport to better education, higher-paying jobs, and international recognition. So while other former colonies struggled to shake off colonial languages, the Philippines repurposed English into a national advantage. Fast forward to the present, and English isn't confined to formal settings. It spills over into everyday life. Watch any Filipino TV channel, and you'll see news anchors switching between English and Tagalog. Look at social media posts, and you'll spot seamless transitions between both languages. Even in music and street slang, English plays a starring role. One of the most fascinating linguistic features is Taglish, a hybrid language that's uniquely Filipino. A sentence like, "Let's meet na lang sa mall later, tapos we'll grab dinner," might sound chaotic to outsiders, but in the Philippines, it's perfectly normal. It reflects how naturally English has blended with local culture, not as a replacement, but as a complement. Why do Filipinos speak English so fluently compared to their neighbors? Now let's talk about what really sets the Philippines apart from other Asian countries. In Japan, South Korea, and China, English education is often heavily focused on tests, grammar drills, and rigid structures. Despite years of study, many students in those countries struggle with spoken English. Why? Because the environment rarely allows for practical use. English is seen as an academic hurdle, not a living, breathing skill. The Philippines flips that model on its head. Filipinos don't just learn English, they use it. From childhood, kids watch cartoons in English. They sing along to Western pop music. They scroll through YouTube and TikTok, absorbing idioms, slang, and expressions naturally. English isn't something they prepare for, it's something they live in. And that brings us to one of the Philippines' biggest economic strengths, the BPO industry. With more than 1 million Filipinos working in call centers, virtual assistant roles, and IT services for clients in the US, UK, and Australia, English has become an income generator. You're not just practicing for a future job, you're speaking English to pay the bills right now. Call center agents are trained to speak clearly, handle Western accents, and even mimic cultural references to build rapport with customers abroad. This constant, high-level exposure to real-life communication makes their English sharper than what a textbook could ever teach. Then there's the global Filipino workforce. With over 10 million overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, scattered across the world, English becomes a vital survival skill. Whether working in hospitals, ships, or hotels, these Filipinos communicate with co-workers and clients in English, further polishing their fluency and boosting the national average plays a part. Filipino content creators on YouTube, podcast platforms, and even Twitch often produce English language content to reach broader audiences. There's a conscious decision to speak globally, and it pays off. Could the secret be in Filipino mindset and personality? Now let's look at something deeper, the Filipino mindset. Filipinos are famously adaptable, cheerful, and sociable. These traits make a big difference when learning a language. Think about it. English isn't just about mastering grammar rules. It's about expressing ideas, sharing jokes, telling stories, and making emotional connections. That's something Filipinos excel at. Karaoke is a national pastime. Storytelling is woven into family life. Humor, puns, and banter are part of daily conversations. All of this trains people to play with language naturally, to make mistakes, correct them, and keep going without fear. Another huge factor: confidence. In many countries, people hesitate to speak English because they fear sounding wrong. But in the Philippines, there's a healthy sense of linguistic freedom. Accents aren't mocked. They're accepted. Mixing Tagalog with English isn't seen as improper. It's part of national identity. This relaxed, confident attitude toward language helps Filipinos speak up, try new phrases, and communicate without the pressure of perfection. That kind of environment encourages real fluency. And it doesn't hurt that Filipino humor, full of wit, sarcasm, and pop culture, often relies on English punchlines. Whether it's memes, tweets, or viral videos, the language of comedy in the Philippines often flows in English. What's the real reason the Philippines dominates English in Asia? So here's the final answer to our big question. The real reason the Philippines dominates English proficiency in Asia isn't just colonial history or a strong school system. It's not just the economy or even the BPO sector. It's total cultural immersion. In the Philippines, English isn't treated like a foreign subject. It's part of the daily environment, like the weather, the traffic, or the latest trending TikTok. It's used in the classroom, at the mall, during lunch breaks, and in conversations with friends overseas. It's not a second language. It's a parallel one. English in the Philippines has evolved into something unique, a version flavored with Filipino warmth, rhythm, and expression. When someone says, "He's so clingy, grabe," or "I'm already there na," they're not making mistakes. They're demonstrating how English has been localized, made personal, made real. In other Asian countries, English might live in exam papers or in language apps. But in the Philippines, it lives in conversations, communities, careers, and creativity, and that's what makes all the difference. Pretty amazing, right? Who would have thought that a country of more than 7,000 islands would become the English bridge between the East and the West? The Philippines didn't just learn the language, it transformed it, it adapted it. And in doing so, it built a culture where communication is seamless, local, global, and everything in between. Now, I'd love to hear what you think. Were you surprised by any of these facts? Did you already know about the Philippines' Global English Ranking? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, tap the like button, share it with a friend who loves languages or travel, and hit subscribe so you don't miss more amazing stories just like this one. Thanks for watching. And as they say in the Philippines, salamat!